You can't do traditional clamshells because your leg is too heavy for your glute. Literally. A traditional clamshell requires us to lift the entire weight of our leg using just those smaller gluteal muscles and asks us to do that without the TFL recruiting, which is something that it's naturally going to want to do. Because the moment a movement is too heavy for a smaller muscle to handle, either a larger muscle or a more active muscle is going to take over in its place. Clamshells are a combination of hip abduction and external rotation, and we can do this in a lot of different ways. We don't have to do it lying on our side. And especially if you have issues with your TFL or other muscles taking over instead of your glutes, we need to do this in a way where we're not making our legs so heavy. Just because something is traditional or it's marketed as being basic or beginner doesn't mean that it actually is. And there are a lot of different ways that we can engage the same muscles, and I love to get creative. So let's go. For the first set of variations, we're going to head to the floor. You can of course do these from bed instead. I'm using a loop band not so much to increase the challenge, but to kind of help hold me in and hold me together. However, this is not necessary. So for everything I'm going to show you, you could do it with or without a band, using a very lightweight band to hold you in and then increasing the resistance as you get stronger. With this floor variation, we're going to hold a gentle pelvic tuck. This is going to help us recruit our deep core and better recruit our gluteals. You can position your feet wider than hips distance and open your knees from there. This is something you may want to opt for if you already have externally rotated hips. You're still using the external rotators here, but just not as heavily as you would be if you had your feet together pulling your knees open. And then you can bring your feet closer together. This is more like the traditional clamshell. It's going to deepen the external rotation. This is the variation you can opt for if you have neutral hips or internally rotated hips. And for any of these, you can do them isometrically, which means just holding your knees open, activating those muscles for an extended period of time, or you can do these with isotonic movement, meaning that you are exhaling as you open your knee slightly and inhaling back to neutral. You can also add something under your sacrum. This gently elevates the hips and allows you to better get into a posterior tuck, which again can help you better recruit the gluteals. Another variation is to lift your legs in the air. Lifting the feet off of the floor makes this an open chain movement, which makes it more of a challenge for your deep core and your gluteals because your legs become heavier. And you can always find a happy medium. Go ahead and put your feet against the wall, a bed, whatever works. If you're unable to feel it in your gluteals with your feet on the floor, but don't feel strong enough to hold your legs up in the air, this might be a good option for you. And similarly, you can use a ball, just requires a little bit more balance and focus. And you certainly don't have to lie down on the floor. You can do this movement pattern from an elevated position. I'm using an exercise ball. Feel free to lie on your bed and hang your legs off of it, couch, whatever works. Again, you can see all the same principles. You can use the band, you can put your feet closer together or further apart. You can either hold those knees open for an isometric contraction, or you can pulse, isotonic contractions. Just make sure to lead with your pubic bone so you don't lose lumbar support. For the more traditional side lying version, you can support your upper body. That alone can help you direct your focus down to the lower body where you want to be able to do the work. You can put something behind you to help yourself stay aligned. We want the feet and the butt to be touching the same surface, so you can use a foam roller or you can even line yourself up against a wall. Last is my favorite, which I call locked and leveled, which again, you can use it in almost any of these variations. This reduces the amount of movement at the hip joint, especially that internal rotation, which can be particularly irritating for some hypermobile people. Reducing the range of motion makes our leg less heavy, allowing us to also better get into those smaller muscles that we're looking to activate. This one can be especially helpful if you have an overactive TFL. An overactive TFL is much more likely to start recruiting when the hip is in internal rotation. By starting this movement with the hips open beyond neutral, we're allowing the TFL to stand down and giving those smaller gluteal muscles an opportunity to be the ones to do the work. If that was helpful, I'll see you back here for the next one, variations of dead bugs for your hip flexors and your scapular stabilizers.